Hello, my friends. My name is Evelyn Joy, and welcome back to my channel. We are praying for the people who were hit by Hurricane Helene, Hurricane Milton, and also these Wyoming wildfires. So, without further ado, let's get started. Dear Lord, I want to lift up anyone who is suffering right now, anyone who has experienced loss, anyone who is mourning, anyone who is in need of help, anyone who is in need of shelter, of warmth, of water, of food to eat. Lord, I just pray that you would provide for all of their needs and help them to find the resources that they need and keep them safe, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen. I figured some people up in the mountains are stranded. They need some survival tips. And some people have Starlink and they have a way of watching the internet. Maybe they would watch this video. I want to share some survival tips. Also, I want to inform myself because any state, any country, you could lose electricity and also running water. And then how do you survive? I mean, let's find out. But first, let's listen to this gentleman share his experience recently.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Bill Geither here. Listen, I want to do a message out to those of you that live in the rural western North Carolina area. You may or may not know that my wife and I bought some property up there in Green Mountain, North Carolina back in February. We've been spending a significant amount of time up there getting to know the people. And ever since Helene hit, we have taken it upon ourselves to do everything within our power to try and help all you guys up there, be prepared for the winter and, to not have power for, 2, 4, 6, maybe even 8 months, which I hope it doesn't go that long. But we have been working diligently. I've been running back and forth twice a week, bringing hundreds of gallons of gasoline, propane, heaters, everything that we need. And the donation places up there, all the churches and community centers, fire departments, they are overrun with donations. Overrun, completely like full. And that's now. That could change at any given point. But here's what I want to say to all of you that are in the area. We need you to come and take these supplies. Come and get the food. Come and get the toothpaste and the toothbrushes and the toilet paper and the paper towels and the blankets and the batteries and the flashlights and the whatever. Because these churches and stuff that have set up these impromptu relief sites to accept donations for you are full currently. Again, that could change it at any given point the longer that this goes on. And I understand the mentality of, hey, I don't want to take something because somebody else might need it. Okay, I get that. You're very humble. And that's typically very appreciated. It's a very good quality. However, right now, the way that you can help the most is by coming and taking some stuff. Take it to your house, put it in your cabinets, feed it to your family, use it with your folks, take it back to your communities and the people that can't get out, go and do runs for them, because that is going to help more than I can even express. And it really hit me this weekend. My brother came up and we served about 400 barbecue plates over in Green Mountain, and people came from around the area, surrounding areas. And a lot of people didn't want to eat. A lot of people were like, no, let somebody else have it. And I was like, no. My brother spent all night. He was up all night long. He cooked 40 Boston butts. And if you don't come and eat it at the end of the day, we're going to end up throwing this stuff away. So there's plenty. Please come and eat. And the way you can help the most is if you come and get a plate, or maybe you take some back to your communities. And after talking with some people, they then understood, okay, it's good for me. It's a good thing for me to go and get this plate of food. But that stands true with everything that these relief centers, these churches and community buildings and fire departments have impromptu set up for you guys. The best way that you can help is to go and take stuff from there. And we've all seen the videos in the past from Katrina and what happened in Puerto Rico and California, where FEMA ended up with warehouses full of supplies that just went to waste. And we're real easy to judge them. And I'm not defending FEMA by any means, but we're real easy to judge them and say, oh, they just took all those supplies and put them in this warehouse and let them go to waste. But now that I'm down in the heat of it, I can see how easily that could happen by accident, because people are humble and they don't want to take anything in fear of taking something that somebody else needed. And I'm here begging you today to please, if you are in the area, please go make a shopping trip to these points of relief. Take a bag, 2, 5, 10 of stuff. Take it back to your communities, to the people that can't get out. But get it out of these places, because believe me when I tell you, there is more coming in. We must have seen 20 truckloads on Saturday of people that drove hundreds and hundreds of miles. I mean, I met people from Wisconsin, from Texas, from Kentucky, from Virginia, from West Virginia, from Pennsylvania, from all over the country that have taken up donations, and they're bringing enclosed trailers, like a horse trailer full of stuff. When I say full, I mean from the front on the floor to the ceiling, all the way to the tailgate, full of stuff. And if we don't move the stuff out that's currently being housed in these relief centers, it's just a matter of time, if it hasn't happened already, before these places go, we can't take it, I'm sorry. You'll have to take it somewhere else. And that's already happening, because some people that came into where I'm working in Green Mountain area have said, hey, I tried to take this stuff here, tried to take it there. They don't have anywhere to put it. They can't take anymore. And this is because, and it dawned on me, it hit me like a ton of bricks this weekend. This is because the mentality is, I don't want to take something in fear that somebody else may need it. And the reality is the way you can help most is to make sure that you come and take some of this stuff out of these relief centers back to your houses and your neighbors' houses. That is how you can help the most. Okay? Take it. You may not need it this minute, but we're a long way from out of the woods. So take it. There's going to be plenty more come in. Whatever people need, we will get it for them. Okay, whenever there's an immediate need, we make it happen. The immediate need now is for you to come and take this stuff. Don't be humble right now. Okay? Take what you need, take what you want, take what you can, give to your communities, but come and take it. So if you're in or around Western North Carolina, you're the person I'm talking to. If you know somebody that is in or around Western North Carolina, tell somebody, get this message to them. We need them to come and take these rations, take this food, take these hygiene products, take all this stuff, so it doesn't end up getting put in some storage facility somewhere and going to waste. All of America has come to your aid. Accept that graciously and come and get the stuff. Get that message out. That's how you can help right now if you're in the area. Come get the stuff. It's yours. It was all sent for you. You deserve it. So get that message out. Know that you're not taking anything from anybody. We need you to take it. Okay? Come see me in Green Mountain. I'm there all the time. If you want, I'd love to meet you, shake your hand, pray with you. But come and get the stuff. Thanks for watching.
All right, so I love that. So if by any chance this video reaches anybody that is in North Carolina that knows where a donation center is, and you feel like, oh, I don't want to take something that somebody else could use, they have an abundance, and you would be doing them a favor taking some of the donations home. Think of it as Christmas is coming up. Get some stuff for your kids, get some food, get some water, get some toothbrush, toothpaste, whatever. I mean, just think winter is coming. We don't know if the donations are going to continue. If these places just stay stockpiled, they're not going to continue to receive new donations, and people will get discouraged to continue giving. Think of your neighbors, think of your family, and think of your own personal needs, and realize that these are gifts that people have provided for you to use, because we want our brothers and sisters in North Carolina and in Tennessee and anybody else affected by these hurricanes. We want you guys to survive the winter. So that means you guys need heaters, you guys need blankets, you need coats. It's not the time to be humble. It's the time to be willing to accept. It's so interesting that during these times, we have selfish people who want to loot, and then we have very humble people who don't want to accept the donations that they actually need. Like he said, it's not a time to be humble. That's very sweet of you to want to leave some for your neighbors, but take some to your neighbors, right? If you are blessed enough to have some gasoline in your vehicle and to have a cleared road to be able to get to a donation center, fill up your car and have Christmas Day today and bring water to the elderly neighbor or the person who doesn't have a vehicle, or bring some formula to the mama that has a baby that needs some formula, or bring some diapers, or bring whatever to whatever neighbors. This is a time that neighbors are looking out for each other. So if you're blessed to have a vehicle that has gasoline, you can get to a donation center. Bless your neighbors and help them out. If I was there, I would do it. I was blessed. I was able to, thanks to Walmart and thanks to connections with friends online that are in North Carolina, I was able to order 2 cans of formula, some diaper rash cream, some baby soap, some wipes, and some diapers for a little 4-month-old baby that needs a specific kind of formula. So look for opportunities like that you can help meet people's needs. There are people that need cat food, dog food. Help your neighbors get what they need for their precious animals that survived, All right. Now I want to look at some survival tips because winter is coming. Let's check it out.
Here are 20 life-saving tips for a survival situation. Did you know that you can boil water without a pot directly in a plastic bottle? Put the bottle in the fire, but important, use thin plastic and don't close the lid, otherwise.
All right, so paper cups and plastic bottles, if you don't close the lid and if it already has the water in it, it will not burn up and it'll boil in there. That is amazing.
It will explode. When the water boils, bacteria.
This guy has a sense of humor, but he is sharing good tips.
Dies. Use a stick or a pliers to get it out of the flames. Now it is safe to drink. A survival blanket can be used to keep warm, but many don't know that it also can be used as snow goggles. Just tie a strip around your head like a blindfold. The see-through material works like a sunglass and protects your eyes from UV rays and snow blindness.
I don't know that that's see-through. Is that see-through? Let me know in the comments. Is he joking with us? I'm not sure.
Collect pine cones. You need about 29. The little seeds between the scales can be used as a food source.
There you go. The seeds on the pine cones have little nuts. The seeds are like edible. That's awesome.
To open the cones, use a pliers or a knife. A more efficient way is to put the cones in a pot next to the fire. The scales open and the seeds fall out. This fire starter technique
The heat makes the scales open. That's so cool.
is used by special forces. Use pliers to carefully open the cartridge case of a bullet to access the nitro powder. This powder burns very hot and can easily be used to start a fire in difficult and wet conditions. To boil water in a wooden bowl or a survival blanket, you must heat stones in the fire for an hour. Important. The stones must be dry for a long time, otherwise they could explode. Put the hot stones in the water. When you see bubbles, the water boils. To filter dirty water, cut a plastic bottle in half. Fill the upper part with a filter material. A tampon, cattail seeds, or charwood can be used for this. Compress the material. The bottom of the bottle serves as a cup. Wait a little. Now your water is clean, not safe. Don't eat snow for hydration in a survival situation. This cools you down and costs too much energy. You can use a plastic bag or aluminum foil as a container to melt the snow next to the fire.
I love this idea. Collect the snow and melt it before you drink it. Smart.
Don't have fire, make small pouches and use your body temperature or the sun. Fill 2 Kinder eggs with a tampon soaked in petroleum jelly and the other with matches. They serve as a water-sealed container to have a dry fire starter set for every weather condition. Don't drink rainwater from the ground. It could be contaminated. One more reason to carry a survival blanket. Lay the blanket on a declining surface and secure it with branches or stones.
Also, obviously, if you have like a bucket or something, you can collect rainwater there too. But yeah.
Wait a little. Fresh rainwater will slowly trickle down. Now you can collect the water at the bottom. If it does not rain, you can make your urine a source of hydration. Pee in a bottle. Cut a hole in a second bottle. Make a fire and put the pee bottle directly in the flames. Place the bottle with the hole over the opening. The water will evaporate into the other bottle and clean water will condense on the wall. This water is now safe to drink.
Okay, so he's making a joke, but the clean water is not yellow like that.
If your shoes get wet in winter, it can cost you your life. An efficient way to dry your shoes is to heat stones and put them into the shoe. To protect your inner lining, heat the stones by boiling because it only heats up to 100 degrees Celsius, 212 degrees Fahrenheit. For a fast result, also put them next to the fire. Carry a pencil sharpener. It may sound strange, but it can be useful in the open because it is an efficient way to make tinder out of small branches.
All right, so cool. He's using a pencil sharpener to make tinder, to basically make wood shavings that is easy to start a fire. I love it.
The wooden chips are easy to inflame. Suck on a stone. Before you die of thirst, you will feel weak and dizzy. If you need motivation, sucking on a stone will stimulate saliva production, which offers temporary relief from thirst. Important.
All right, so this will give you some relief from symptoms of thirst, but it doesn't actually quench your thirst. It just like temporarily fixes the problem.
Will not prevent dehydration. This is how you boil an egg without a pot. First, make a fire, prepare a stick, and carefully open the top of the eggshell. Put the egg directly in the fire. The fire shouldn't be too hot. Otherwise, it could explode and spill all over. When the egg is ready, use the stick to get it out of the heat. The stick also helps to peel the hot egg. Enjoy. Keep your balls warm. To prevent hypothermia, you need to maintain your body temperature at night. A hot water bottle can be your only option. Stop trying to heat your cold feet. This costs way more energy than heating the middle of your body. To brush your teeth in a long-term survival situation, you can use charwood and your finger. This material is sterile and the rough surface works like toothpaste. For a better result, cut a fresh branch and break up the fibers on one end. It should look something like this. The fibers help to reach between your teeth. Don't chop wood with an axe or big knife like that. To safely split wood, use a sissy stick. Just split a small branch. The flat side helps to get a good grip to stabilize the log. Now you can split wood safely. This survival test shows if you survive the next 3 hours. If you work in freezing temperatures without gloves, your hand gets stiff. This can hinder you to build shelter or start a fire, potentially leading to death. A simple test from the Inuit can warn you. Try to touch your little finger with your thumb. If this requires a lot of effort or is not possible anymore, it is important to immediately warm up your hands at a fire or under your armpits. Another way to protect your hands against freezing temperatures is to use your sock to make survival gloves.
So smart. Use your socks.
Collect the seeds of the cattail near lakes and wetlands. You can also use dry leaves. Take off your sock and put it over your hand. Stuff the cattail into the sock. You can also insulate other clothes with this technique. Charwood is more than just a tinder. This material
That was so smart. A way to insulate your gloves, your sock gloves, with some stuffing it in nature.
can save your life. It can be used to bind toxins, which is perfect to filter water or brush your teeth. You can use it as a marker or pen, and of course, it is highly flammable and serves as a reliable and windproof tinder. To make it, put wooden chips in a metal box and heat them on a fire.
Wait.
Practice your skills.
This is how to make charcoal wood? Wait.
Wooden chips in a metal box and heat them on a fire. Practice your skills because you can be good.
You can make your own charcoal wood. That was so awesome. Thank you so much for those survival tips. I've got some more survival tips, but I think we're going to bounce back and forth between a few different helpful videos. Okay. This lady had a really precious story she wanted to share. Let's check it out. She endured the flooding, but obviously not as bad as some areas, but her bees on her farm were completely flooded and died.
All right, babe, what'd you find?
This is so crazy. I was just over at the fig tree, eating some figs off the fig tree. Sounds crazy. And I just happened to look over in this direction at the goats in our backyard. But I discovered something else.
What is it?
Look. Can you see it?
This?
So
this was one of our empty hives that we lost during
the flood.
The flood that we just kind of cleaned up and sat back up there, never put any bees in it. And there is a wild swarm making a home in the hive.
God sent me new bees.
New bees for free.
For free.
We didn't bait it. We didn't do anything.
We didn't do it. Literally just empty hives sitting, waiting for spring to get new hives. And
That
look,
is so crazy.
I am just, I'm just blown away.
And they've got all these flowers right here in the loofah patch. Wow.
Honestly, like, and it's not super common to have swarms find a new home right before winter. Like,
Yeah.
we're entering our, winter season. So we're going to have to let them settle down for the next week because this is brand new. They're just now moving in. Like today or yesterday.
Yeah.
And so we've got stored.
Well, I mowed a couple days ago and there were no bees.
Right. And we're out here every day. So
yeah.
This is new within the last 48 hours.
So we've got some frozen frames that we can thaw out and put in there. Once they get settled in, we can give them a good,
through the winter.
Yeah, we can give them a good amount of honey for the.
We weren't prepared for that, but I said we weren't prepared for that. We weren't planning on that, but we are prepared to have them survive the winter.
Yeah, that is awesome.
How cool is that?
Bees for the fall. You know what that is, babe? That's the bee's knees.
That's the bee's knees, and that's God.
So they lost their bees because there was a lot of bee farms lost all their bees to the flooding. And it was really, really tragic and not good for society at all to lose so many bees, right? And so look at God replenishing. Look at those miracles. All right. Well, I haven't seen a whole lot of military helping out. I've heard little stories here and there, but in Chimney Rock, people aren't able to get in there to volunteer or donate because Chimney Rock was so obliterated that the roads in and out are so awful. So it's amazing to see the military in there. I don't know what amount or what capacity they're working, but it's good to hear that they're helping out. Let's see what they have to say.
How long have you guys been here?
In Hot Spring or here or
in this town?
In this town, we've been here since yesterday. So we were working out of Spindale, and some of the emergency response people let us know that it's pretty bad up here. So we sent our recon element. We flew the drone up to see like what kind of damage is up here.
Yeah.
And the footage we got off the drone was terrible. So we mobilized a whole platoon up here to start helping these folks dig out their businesses and start trying to save what can be salvaged. Currently, like the work volume is so high here in Chimney Rock that another platoon is headed up here right now with an LMTV to start helping us with the workload that's coming in right now.
What's your name? What's your full name?
Kyle Ever Clark.
Kyler?
Kyle Clark, yes, sir.
And with the 101st Airborne?
Yes, sir. Yep, 2nd Brigade, 101st, 1502.
Fort Campbell, Kentucky?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So how long you guys were mobilized to come here?
How many?
No, how long have you guys been mobilized to come out here?
We were told anywhere from 14 to 21 days.
When did you hit the ground?
We mobilized roughly on like the 6th, and then we went up to Greensville. Like half of us air salted in, half of us drove like the equipment up. We stayed a night in Greensville. We bounced to Marion, where our headquarters is actually at, and then from Marion, we're branching out to local towns and stuff that need help. I keep telling my guys, and I stand by it. You know, the Soldier's Creed. I serve the people of the United States, and it's our opportunity right now to show the people of the United States what we bring to the table and how we can help them. So we always go overseas and we help other countries, but now we can show the American citizens that we're here to help. So that's the biggest stable we got. Currently, right now, we have 36. So it's our first tune in our mortar section. Right now, our mortars are out and doing the recon, and my platoon right now is the one digging the businesses out. And then our third platoon will be here. We'll have 32.
Are you guys all infantry?
We're all infantry, yes, sir.
So you guys infantry can do a little bit more than just shooting.
Oh, absolutely. As a little speech we had to give before we got here. You know, like I know we're bred to shoot, but that's not our job here. You know, our job is to help people and show them that we're here to be helpful. So.
All right, so that's the U.S. Army. Couple of platoons that are there, supposed to be there like maybe 20 days to do as much help as they can. That's what I've been wanting to see. We need to see more help, especially it's becoming winter time. We need some help from our government. So that's amazing to see. All right, let's look at some more survival tips. Let's see.
Well, technically it's called resin, but you can call it whatever you want to call it. Either way, it's very useful stuff and you can do all kinds of things with it. Pine trees release this anytime they experience an injury to seal off the wound from any infections. And you can harvest it yourself when it's fresh to use on your own cuts and scrapes for the same purpose. It has antibacterial properties, and since it's sticky, it can help stop bleeding as well. It's kind of like nature's liquid bandage and Neosporin. It also happens to be highly flammable, which makes it great for helping you to get fires going, especially in wet conditions, because it'll burn even if it's wet.
So that's pine sap. You can use it on cuts, and you can also use it to help start fires. Amazing.
Here I found a large chunk of it that I'm going to place on top of this pile of dryer lint, which also makes great tinder. This large chunk of pine sap will burn long and hot and will do a good job of drying out these damp sticks that I'm placing on top. It makes great torches, which can be used as a portable light source at night, or if you need to signal for help.
Wow.
It can be difficult to ignite pine resin with a ferrocerium rod, but it can be done by finding an older, dry chunk of resin like this one and crushing it into a powder like I'm doing here with the back of my knife, and just start throwing sparks at it. It might take a little while to ignite it, but eventually it'll ignite.
Wow. That's fire. Oh, sorry.
Hourly Amazon employees earn an average of more.
Let me skip this ad for you guys.
You can also use pine resin to make a temporary waterproof patch for tents, tarps, rubber boots, or rain jackets like this one. I have a small hole in this rain jacket, so I'm going to gather up some fresh pine resin. Just work it on there over the hole until it seals. You might have to add a second clump to it. It'll work best when it's fresh. And this will create a waterproof patch. So I'm going to take this thing to the stream, fill it up, and see if it holds water. And it's looking good. No water leaking through. You can see the patch I made there. You can make portable fire starters that you can keep in your pack for future fire making by wrapping pine resin with cedar bark so that they won't stick to anything, and so that you can ignite it easier with sparks. After I've processed a strip of cedar bark into finer fibers, I'm going to put the pine resin inside and roll it up. Now you can light it with a lighter or give it some sparks from a ferro rod. This will burn pretty hot for about 5 or 6 minutes, depending on how much pine resin you use. These are great for helping you to start fires, especially in windy or wet conditions.
Wow.
Imagine wood that is soaked in oil or kerosene, and that is what fat wood burns like. It can be found in dead pine branches. The section of the dead branch that is closest to the trunk of the tree, known as pine knots, will be saturated with flammable pine resin. And if you don't have a saw with you, you can break off small branches with your foot or your hand, as close to the trunk of the tree as you can get. It's very easy to light. It'll burn for a long time, so it's really good for starting fires. and it's windproof.
Awesome. I love it.
I have a stick of fat wood here that I'm going to dunk in this stream just to demonstrate how it lights even when it's wet. To ignite it with a ferrocerium rod, you want to scrape very fine shavings off with the back of your knife or with a scraper. Then I'm going to slice off some slightly bigger shavings with my knife, and it lights right away. Great stuff.
Amazing.
You can make long-lasting candles like the one I'm going to make with this fat wood branch that I harvested earlier. Make a split in the top about a third of the way down or so. Keep it propped open with a twig. And then do the same thing in the opposite direction, crisscrossing the first split. And this is what it's going to look like, almost like a miniature Swedish torch. And then I'm going to take my Zippo lighter, a good wind-resistant alternative to the Bic lighter, and then I'm going to light my candle. Now you have a long-lasting, wind-proof candle for some light around the campsite, which also has a lovely natural pine scent to it. You can make a larger version of this with a longer stick to use as a torch.
There you go.
This particular torch I made lasted me about an hour, so you're going to get a long burn time out of these. And if you need to put this out, find some water and dunk it. It'll burn while it's raining, but it won't burn underwater.
Amazing.
Make a stealth fire, also known as the Dakota fire hole. Dig 2 holes next to each other and then connect them underground with a smaller hole. The fire is going to go in this hole, and as the fire burns, it's going to pull in fresh air from the air intake hole, which is best to be placed upwind of the fire hole. So I'm going to get a fire going in here, and once the fire gets going and gets nice and hot, it's going to burn very efficiently and put out very little smoke. This is a very good option if you want a fire, but you don't want your location to be known. Because as you can see, I'm walking up towards the fire, but I can't see it unless I'm right next to it. Just be sure to...
So hiding your location from maybe looters, or if you're at war, your enemies, you don't want to show people, or if you're in the Hunger Games, you don't want to show with the fire where you are, but you could have it like kind of covered up so there's not smoke.
Watch your step and don't fall into it. You could twist your ankle and burn your boot at the same time, and that's not good.
No,
it's also a very efficient way to cook food and heat up water compared to a normal fire. Think of it as kind of a rocket stove in the ground. And once you're ready to put the fire out, all you have to do is fill the hole back up with dirt, and you're good to go. It's almost like you were never there. A couple ways to modify your Bic lighter. Wrap it with duct tape. Besides its obvious uses, duct tape also happens to be very flammable. So now you have a fire starter and a lighter in one. I like to make kind of a hollowed tube out of it and give it a light. This will burn for a few minutes. It's also a good idea to pry off the child safety guard that's on the striker wheel. And this makes for much easier striking for if you ever lose dexterity in your fingers from the cold. One of the best natural tinders you're going to find in the wild is birch bark. The bark contains oil that makes it waterproof and highly flammable. I'm scraping fine shavings off the outer layer with my knife because I'm going to pair it with cattail fluff, which makes a great combination for if you ever have to start a fire with an empty lighter. The cattail fluff takes a very small spark, turns it into a flame, but it goes out really fast, so I need the fine shavings of birch bark to catch the flame and extend it. So I'm going to take my broken, empty Bic lighter, and all I'm going to do is give it a spark.
Okay, so it doesn't have the lighter fluid, but it has the spark.
Make sure the cattail seed heads are fluffed up really good so that they catch a spark more easily. And this can be added to your larger tinder bundle.
So your lighter is still useful even if it's out of the fluid. Amazing.
If no other tinder is available, you can always use your sock.
Make your own dryer.
Take your knife and start shaving off the sock lint off of your sock, and it'll make a great tinder that will take a spark from your ferrocerium rod pretty easily.
Start a fire.
If you heat up a section of birch bark, it makes it easier to bend without breaking it. And I'm going to use this to make a makeshift water filter. This is a good way to filter heavy sediment out of your water. Bend your birch bark into a funnel and take a piece of clothing like this cotton t-shirt I have here. And I'm going to place this into the funnel. Now all this is going to do is filter out the sediment. It's not going to purify the water. which is why I'm letting this drip straight into my metal pot, because I'm going to have to boil the water afterwards anyways. And as you can see, this does a pretty good job of filtering out all that nasty sediment from the water, and it's almost crystal clear now. Like I said, you still
Okay, so you probably heard him just fine, but this is the way to get all the sediment out of the water, but you still have to boil it. Love it.
have to boil this, and it is recommended to boil water for at least a minute, a good rolling boil. And you can see all the nasty mud and sediment that I filtered out of it.
Nice.
If you have long branches but no saw and you need smaller pieces, find 2 trees right next to each other and put your stick in between the 2, use it as leverage, and pull straight back until the branch breaks.
Amazing.
Now you have a big messy pile of logs. An easy way to transport them is to take off your belt, pile all the logs onto it, and strap them up. Now you have a log carrier, which actually works pretty well. Carry your logs with one hand and hold your pants up with the other. Cattail seed fluff is very compacted in the seed head, but if you break them open, they fluff up really good. You already seen me use this as tinder, but there's another use for it. If you're stuck out in the cold without the proper clothing on, you can use this as insulation. It acts just like goose down to keep you insulated from the cold. The more fluffy they are in your shirt, the better they're going to insulate you.
Oh.
Feeling nice and toasty. Say your lighter gets wet. When a lighter gets wet, needless to say, it's not going to light. So first thing you want to do is shake it a bunch of times as hard as you can, get all that water out of there, and then blow down into the top of it a few times to push out any remaining water. And then you want to remove the safety guard that sits on top of the striker wheel. Pry it off with something away from you, because this thing can really shoot off of there. If you poke your eye out, you're going to have bigger problems. And then you want to take the lighter, hold it upside down, and roll it back and forth on your pants a bunch of times. You just want to keep doing this over and over again until the lighter is dry enough to work.
Awesome.
Now there's another way to do this if you're worried about wearing down the lighter's ferrocerium rod. Take the lighter and dry out the striker wheel with your shirt, turning the wheel as you go.
Genius.
And then that'll dry it out pretty quick.
Wow.
Welcome to
I love it. Thank you so much for those amazing, amazing things. Now, this is a totally separate video, but this lady had some interesting things to say. Let's hear it.
They throwing around the word misinformation. Well,
Okay, one thing about misinformation. Okay, so I've been sharing people's stories of what they're going through in the mountains, and Facebook has been flagging me right and left. It's like people are sharing testimonies of what happened to them. They're telling the truth. They're not misinformed. Let's listen to what this lady has to say. So I appreciated her video.
Informed when we heard what we heard directly from her mouth.
And the federal relief and assistance that we have been providing has included FEMA providing $750.
And was we also misinformed when the director of FEMA, Mayorkas, came out and said what he said, or did he misspeak?
We are meeting the immediate needs with the money that we have. We are expecting another hurricane hitting. We do not have the funds. FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season.
Now, since y'all want to say everything is so misinformation and misinformed, I just have a few questions. That's it. Is the critical needs payout of $750 only a one-time payout per household, not per person, and you would need to qualify, which also indicates that you may be denied?
Okay, so like 90% of people that are applying are being denied.
Just asking. I have another question. Did FEMA not designate funding of over $1 billion for a legal migrant program called Shelter in Place in 2023 and 2024? Another question that I may be misinformed about. Did FEMA not designate funding of about $685 billion for illegal migrants in an emergency food and shelter program under this administration? I have another question. So now they're throwing around the word misinformation. Well, was we misinformed when we heard what we heard directly from her mouth?
Okay. I think the video is repeating itself. Anyway, thought that was interesting. So yeah, here's the catch-22 that a lot of people are experiencing with FEMA, right? So FEMA says, "Oh, we'll give you $750, just fill out this paperwork," right? So if you have the internet capability, the electricity, and the time and the energy to fill it out, then people are filling out the information, and in it asks, was your home, hit by a tree? Was it not hit by a tree? Did you have homeowners insurance, et cetera, et cetera. So here's the deal. People's homes are getting totally obliterated. They're filling out the paperwork and saying, yes, I have homeowners insurance. And FEMA says, you're covered. You don't need help from us, so we're not going to help you. Then they go to their homeowners insurance, and their homeowners insurance say, well, this is categorized as a flood. So you don't have flood insurance. You didn't live in a flood zone. You lived on the top of a mountain. It's just the whole mountain was obliterated. And so we can't cover you. All your property's gone. Nothing was covered, even though you were paying us homeowners insurance for 40 years. No help from us whatsoever. Good luck with that. So it's like FEMA saying, oh, you have homeowners insurance that's going to help you out. And then the homeowners insurance is saying, yeah, but you didn't have flood insurance. Nobody in those areas have flood insurance because the insurance companies told them, you don't need flood insurance. It never floods on the top of a mountain. That's so silly. Why would you get that? So they didn't. So FEMA's not going to help them because supposedly they're going to be helped. But FEMA knows they're not going to be helped because they have a brain. But that's just their way of being like, oh, you're already being helped by somebody. Anyway, let's finish off with prayer. Dear Lord, I pray for everybody that is cold, in need of shelter, in need of food, in need of water, in need of assistance right now. I pray that you would help the volunteers to get to them, help the neighbors to help each other, help the people not to be too humble, but to be willing to accept donations and accept assistance. And I pray that you would help those who are out there in need of help to survive, help them to survive, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen. God bless you. I hope you have a blessed day. I'm going to continue making Hurricane FEMA videos because we need to keep them in the forefront of our minds and of our prayers because they are going through it in the mountains after this storm and winter's coming. So I'm not going to stop talking about them. They need it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.